We've had 4 different race weekends so far in the 2025 GB3 Championship. We started in the United Kingdom at Silverstone, we moved on to the Netherlands at Zandvoort, then to Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps, and now we are here at the Hungaroring in Hungary, 20 kilometres away from the capital city, Budapest. Beautiful place, known for its architecture, known for its historical baths. I don't know what they're called, I guess they're called hot baths. It's a very hot day here. Any kind of bath you're going to have in this paddock is going to be incredibly warm. Temperatures around about 32 degrees right now, and we thought the weather might drop off a little bit, but it's only got hotter throughout the day. I'm John Jackson, Piers Pryor alongside me here. We've seen the drivers in the back of their garages with their paddling pools. We saw Seewooruthun yesterday in a plant pot, an oversized plant pot, which was doing the job for him. These conditions are kind of hard to exist in if you're kind of here watching the race, but as a driver, I know it's going to be hot in the car. Going to be great for the tyres.
Yeah, well, it's easy to warm the tyres up, but actually by the end of the race, the tyres will be very much hitting a thermal cliff and be going downhill. So the drivers that can not only get a good start, but also keep those Pirelli tyres alive till the end of the race are going to be the ones that can benefit in this one. If you hit the tyres too hard and overheat them at the start of the race, you're going to be very much struggling. But the drivers right behind us now sitting on the grid, this is probably one of the hottest points because the cars are already warm, prepped, ready to go. They're sitting in the cars, the heat soaking from the radiators and the engine and everything around them, and there's absolutely no ventilation in these cars. The only ventilation they get is from when they're travelling at over 100 miles an hour.
And of course we have a lot of changes in the cars. We mentioned the tyres there. The tyres are wider this year.
2 inches.
2 inches wider, so a bigger tyre surface. We've also got DRS, which we can just see behind us, a very good example here on Deegan Fairclough's car. That's something new for this championship this year, and of course the cars are faster, more powerful and safer as well, which is great. But we have things that haven't changed, and that is the reverse grid race, and that's what we got coming up here. It's a fantastic spectacle, lots of overtaking. Piers, just run us through what the reverse grid race is all about and why it's a reverse grid race and why that exists.
Yeah, so it's a top 12 reverse for this season, so not a full reverse grid. However, there's only 4 drivers that didn't get the reverse bump up in this one. So Kai Darianani had the 12th fastest time in qualifying. He's first. Our fastest driver in qualifying over the both sessions was Alex Ninovic. He's starting in 12th place. So it gives the drivers who are normally qualifying at the front of the field and who are fastest an opportunity to race through the field and get some racecraft experience, because this is a championship. These drivers are not only trying to win but also to develop their skills, but it also provides some entertainment for you at home, and also those drivers who maybe didn't quite get things right as they would like in qualifying. There's an opportunity for them to get some silverware at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, so less points on offer for the podium places, but also points on offer for places made up.
Yeah.
Piers will talk you through that more during the commentary. So we've had 2 races already, and so far this weekend it's been a kind of road-in party. We've had success. Gianmarco Pradel in the first race, and Alex Ninovic took the win in the second race to extend his championship lead.
Highlights of round 11 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC from the Hungaroring, and from pole position, Alex Ninovic got away well ahead of Keanu Alazari, who challenged him down towards turn number 1. In the back of shot, Noah Lyle made an attempt on the move on Gianmarco Pradel, yesterday's winner at turn 1, and that was successful. But in the back of shot also, you can see a double lock-up from Jack Sherwood clattering into the side of Kai Darianani. Both of those races ended at lap 1. Further battling down towards turn number 2, Keanu Alazari having a look up the inside. Deegan Fairclough tried around the outside. That would not work for him. He dropped further down the order inside the top 10. Wide was Pat Hoytson-Roderers. Now the battle between Will McIntyre and Deegan Fairclough started. That would rage on throughout the race. McIntyre actually shuffled behind Schwarzer on the first lap, would make his way back through on that lap and all the way back up onto the rear of McIntyre in the race. Keanu Alazari just about holding on to the coattails of Ninovic at the front of the field, but couldn't quite mount a challenge, as Ninovic took his 3rd win in the championship this season, the 4th win for Road in Motorsport as well.
A great race win for the Australian. Alex Ninovic there, extending his lead at the top of the championship to 32 points ahead of Patrick Hudson-Roder, another Australian. Aussie's doing incredibly well this season. He's got a 14-point lead there over Gianmarco Pradel, with Deegan Fairclough in 4th. We're looking at the car of Jack Sherwood here, who actually got a penalty after that race. A couple of amendments just to run you through. Jack Sherwood getting a 3-place penalty, putting him at the back of the grid for this one because of an incident with our pole sitter today.
Yes, we saw that in race number 2. Unfortunate for Jack. Made a mistake down towards turn number 1. Both front brakes on the inside, easily done, but unfortunately caused the collision and took himself and and Darren Arney out of the race, so we'll be going from the back of the grid. And there was also one other amendment as well.
Yeah, of course, and that's on the podium. It's quite a big one, and that's Jean-Marc Pradel has been promoted to third place. Noah Lyle and himself having a little incident there. It was classed as Noah Lyle pushing him aside and giving him a disadvantage, which was deemed to be unfair. So 2 podiums this weekend for Jean-Marc Pradel, and another bit of success there for Road and Motorsport. Could he potentially get on the podium again? I mean, could be 3 in a row. We don't know. Anything can happen in a reverse grid race. We saw some excellent racing a little bit further down the field, and between 2 of the drivers. In fact, one of the drivers behind us, Deegan Fairclough and Will McIntyre. Just talk us through what was going on there, Piers.
Yeah, we saw that during the race, didn't we? If anyone tuned into race number 2, a good battle. It was McIntyre managing to get around the outside of Fairclough into turn 1. Then Fairclough returned the favour, getting back through into turn 9. A place we don't see many moves here at the Hungaroring, but a bold and successful move. Then towards the end of the race, McIntyre reclosed on Fairclough and took the position again. It was really close racing, really fair racing. I know that they chatted after the race and they were joking about it. They enjoyed it, but on that occasion, McIntyre came out ahead.
And whenever Piers gets really excited about racing, he always wants to go and chat to the drivers. As a former driver himself, to go and find out what was going on, and he caught up with the drivers. Let's start with, I guess, Deegan Fairclough.
Deegan, here in Hungary, it's a new circuit for you racing on, I believe, isn't it? How has it been so far for you?
Yeah, it's been extremely hot, as everyone's aware of, but yes, it's been a bit of a tricky one, but we've managed to score points in every single race so far, so that's a positive. And we've got the reverse coming up, and it's just another race where we need to score some good haul of points.
Well, let's talk about that race too, because you got a fair amount of airtime in that one, fighting hard with Will McIntyre. Talk us about those moves. It was quite entertaining to watch. Was it good in the car?
Yeah, I mean, start of the race, lap 1 was I just was in the wrong place. Tried to go around the outside at turn 2 and just got driven deep. And then McIntyre was able to get past me, and I wanted to get back in front, otherwise I would have just been held up by all the others. So then sent it into turn 9, and yeah, it was really good, close, fair racing, and he was able to get me on the last lap into turn 1, was just able to brake a fraction bit later and hold it going into turn 2. But yeah, that's it really.
Good to see such close, hard but fair racing. We enjoy that, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. That's what all the fans are here for, to watch, and it's been enjoyable.
And this weekend, teammate Keanu's obviously had a very, very good run so far. You've been there or thereabouts, but not quite maybe been leading the team as you have been at other points this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a good job, and he's just putting everything together, and he's up the front, getting a good load of points for the team championship also. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of them weekends.
Yeah, but you've got a good opportunity in the reverse grid race coming up. You're going to be higher up the order in the starting positions. We've seen that you've made up a lot of places this year in that reverse grid. I think you've made over 30 places in those races so far this season. Potentially more moves like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's promising, and I mean, everyone's got their elbows out as wide as possible, and it will be an entertaining race for sure.
I know it's not been potentially the start to the season that you would have hoped for or expected. Your pace has been really good at times, but things haven't really gone your way. After this weekend, we're at the halfway point of the season. Looking into the second half of the season, is anything going to be different? You're going to change your approach, or are you just going to... What's the outlook?
I think a full reset. I think this year so far has just been a bit bumpy, and when it was important to get the lap times in, it just has been a little bit of a mess. My side, and a little bit unfortunate at Seewooruthun. But yeah, it's just a full reset, and I think the team are only getting better and better. And if we can put the bits that we're missing on put together, then we're going to have a really strong second half, and I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, just collecting as many points as I can for this weekend and have a good reset and go again at Seewooruthun.
Well, Deegan, we look forward to the rest of the season, but still the reverse grid to come. I'm looking forward to that one.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Deegan Fairclough there with High-Tech TGR sitting 4th in the championship, 167 points. And he's only 3 points ahead of Will McIntyre as well. So battling out on the track, but also battling it out in the championship as well. And we're looking at these guys further down the back of the grid. That's what the reverse grid race does. you've got to think that they're going to be looking to make up some places, along with Patrick Hurtzenreuter as well. You've got to, mid-pack at the moment. You've got to think they're all going to be battling it out, probably these three, for some more points here today.
Yeah, it's going to be very close for them in this race, and it's also close to the championship, a few points only, separating quite a lot of drivers, sort of third, fourth down to about the bottom end of the top 10. So small changes in position can have a big impact on the championship. And races like this, it's important to make places, but also just finishing to get some points.
Excellent stuff. Well, as we see Will McIntyre go out with Deegan Faircluff just behind in that silver car, let's hear from the Elite Motorsports driver, Will McIntyre.
Will, you're back here in Hungaroring for the second time. Does it fill you with confidence coming back to a circuit you've been to before that some of the other drivers may not have done?
Yeah, it did a little bit. I was super excited coming back here. It's something completely different to what I'm used to. So, I was looking forward to it. However, the car is quite different, and I weren't expecting it to be as different as it was last year. New team as well, so that definitely changed another environment. But yeah, it's been loads of fun.
Yeah, is there much you can carry over in terms of your driving from the last year's car to this year's car at the same circuit?
I think there's obviously the basics, but when you go to a track that you haven't driven that much and you don't really know too well, like Silverstone or something, there are quite a few differences that you're not quite used to. So yeah, I reckon around here it's a lot different, whereas when you go to another track it's a lot more similar, yeah.
Of course, a new car this year, we know that, we've just spoken about it. New team in GB3 to you. You've raced with Elite before in other categories. A lot to get used to, and maybe not had the start of the season potentially you would have hoped for, but I think this weekend you've really shown that you've been strong.
Yeah, it's been a really difficult start to the season. Obviously, just after race 2, now going into race 3, and this time last year I was leading the championship, so it's a bit awkward now being P6, but yeah, I think the environments overall and the team mechanics and everything it's really good. So I'm really enjoying them, and as well this year I'm getting better and better and better, whereas last year after halfway through my foot fell off with some issues with the car there was.
Well, okay, let's look at this season going forward. One more race to come this weekend, the reverse grid. We've seen you've done some good moves this weekend already. Can you make up some moves this weekend? And then going ahead to Silverstone the rest of the season, what are your hopes?
Well, I think just go forwards. I think we're really happy with the P2 in race 1, and it's the best weekend we've had so far this year. So I'm really looking forward to race 3 because it's the fun race. Try and go through the pack, overtake the drivers who I know are slower than me. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And for the rest of the season, hopefully we go another step better than we have this weekend and try and get the race 1-2 victory, because we all really want that here.
Yeah, you've been close so far, but we'll look forward to a strong second half of the year. Will McIntyre, thanks very much, and we'll see you have fun in that final race.
Cheers, thank you.
Will McIntyre, one of our second-year drivers in the GB3 Championship, driving with Elite Motorsport. We're going to hear from his teammate Bianca Bustamante in just a second. But looking at the second row of the grid, we've talked about Flynn Jacks alongside Kai Darianani, second and first on the grid. The second row for me is quite an interesting one. Reza Seewooruthun and also Hugo Schwarzer. We know what they can do, and I'm looking at them from the second row of the grid to potentially get a podium. But also the third row of the grid has Abby Pulling in fifth. And Abby Pulling's not yet got a podium in GB3. We know what she did in F1 Academy last year as the reigning champion. I think this might be Abby Pulling's best chance for a podium so far this season. What do you make of that?
I mean, Abby Pulling has a good chance, but it's not going to be an easy task. Hugo Schwarzer has already won a reverse grid race this year. Kai Darianani on pole position was very fast at Silverstone, although to be fair, so was Abby Pulling. Let's not take anything away from Flynn Jacks either on the second row. No. This would be a great opportunity for him to get a good result after what's been a difficult weekend. We saw him DNF in race 1.
And Patrick Hurtzenreuter sixth as well, just behind Abby Pulling as well, and second in the championship. We know what the Australian can do. Anyway, I mentioned Bianca Bustamante. She has been up to all kinds of stuff since we last saw you. I've seen her in Jakarta, I've seen her in London, I've now seen her in Hungary.
You need to stop following her.
I need to stop following her, yeah. She's already blocked my phone number. Piers caught up with her earlier because I'm not allowed to talk to her.
Bianca, we're here in a very warm Hungary. I know you're used to warmer climes, but you've had some pretty exciting things off the racetrack recently, but to do with racing. We saw you at the F1 premiere. That must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, so when they told me that I'd be watching the F1 premiere, I didn't know it would be alongside Brad Pitt and Lewis Hamilton. But yeah, that was a cool experience, middle of Leicester Square. There was an F1 car there, got to see the movie. It was very cool, like seeing the new age of motorsport, a new era for the sport that I grew up watching. It's cool, it's interesting. So yeah, that was a cool experience, a bit starstruck, and they were 3 rows behind me, so I was make sure I sit up straight.
Well, I think you did a great job there, but also you've been doing, obviously, racing in GB3, but also got a lot of things behind the scenes with other races. We've been linked with a Formula E team. Tell us all about that.
Yes, so I just signed recently as a Cooper Care development driver in Formula E. I think as a junior driver, it's just another tool in your toolbox, having to learn from different discipline, one that's, very engineering oriented. So you, as a driver, you need to really put your driving mentality on and be smart and proactive and listen to the engineers. You have less freedom, so you got to be disciplined. So it's taught me that, and I think it's translated this weekend, to be honest. I think, obviously it's a tough season, a tough series. It's a big car, lots of aero, technical. I think all of the drivers will resonate with me when I say that. So having to learn and get grips with this car has been really difficult, but I've been, working hard on myself, learning from Formula E and a team alongside Elite Motorsport to really develop my skill and talent, and we closed the gap this race. I think, it was one of our best races yet.
Amazing. And also, you said you've been learning a lot from the team. Any words of advice from recent race winner in Formula E, Dan Ticktum?
Yeah. I think one of his advice that I would definitely take into account, one of them is driving, elbows out. I think that's one of the things he told me. The grid won't be kind to you, so you can't be kind to them either. So that's an advice I'll take. And another is obviously to care less. I think it's quite obvious that I, race and live life with my heart on my sleeves. So he told me to F it, pretty much.
Self-centered, well done. We've still got one more race to come this weekend, the reverse race grid. That's always, it's a bit wordy. It's always one that throws some drama in. What's your outlook going into the final race here at Hungary?
So finished P13 last race. We were keeping close to the pack in front of us with the midfield. So I think, it's the closest we've ever been all season, really. And that's also with using our old set of tires. So I'll be racing the last race with fresher sets in hopes that we can gain position and go up the ladder. It's always an interesting race because obviously you've got, the midfield then leading a race. So you always see some interesting battles, which enhances the crafts of the top drivers and also the midfield. So I think it'll be fun. I'm hoping to gain some experience from that and to finish the race. I think every lap counts in this championship, and you just got to keep working at it. So, and that's all I'll do, I guess.
Consistent finishes are, of course, key to a good season. Bianca, thanks so much for catching up with us, and we'll see you both in the final race this weekend and, of course, for the rest of the season.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah, they're going to shut the gates now. Look. Okay then, well here we go, the cars are now gridding up out there. We've got all the marshals who do a fantastic job, of course. We haven't mentioned the marshals recently, just making sure they're all in the right places over here on the grid. And of course they're in front of the new improvements here at the Hungaroring. We love the new grid, the new start-finish straight with the 10,000 seater stadium there. Just hopefully going to get it signed off. We're going to go and try and sit with some of those seats a little bit later, try and sit on that seat for the first time so we can claim to fame something. But of course this is the reverse grid race in the GB3 Championship. It's round 12 here at the Hungaroring. You heard from Bianca Bustamante just now. She starts 13th, but it's Kai Darianani on pole as we go racing for one last time this weekend here in Hungary.
We head to the Hungaroring for the 4th event of the championship. Rounds 10, 11 and 12 here for the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. And we've been greeted with some wonderful weather, air temperature in the high 20s. Track temperatures will be in the low 40s, so that will be something for the drivers to deal with. Let's have a look at the circuit in a bit more detail. Down towards turn 1 and turn 2, that will be where most of the overtaking opportunities are, around this high average speed, nearly 100 miles an hour average speed at the Hungaroring circuit. The technical middle sector, especially 6, 7, 8 and 9. That's where time can be won and lost. To 11 and turn 4, very high speed challenges for these drivers. And then we've got the DRS detection point there into turn 14 that completes the 4.381 kilometre lap time. One DRS detection point into that last corner gives us 2 DRS zones down towards turn 1 and turn 2. And that is 14 corners of the Hungaroring circuit for these drivers to be racing around 3 times this weekend. For the final time this weekend, we go racing here at the Hungaroring circuit, and it is that partial reverse grid race that always gives us so much drama. And the grid is as follows. Kai Darianani for JHR Developments goes from pole position alongside Flynn Jackson of Elite Motorsports, Reza Seewooruthun for Argenti with Prema, and then Hugo Schwarzer are on row number 2. Row 3, Abby Pulling looking for a good result in this one alongside second place in the championship, Patrick Hoytzenroder for XL Motorsport. Will McIntyre and Deegan Faircluff have gone to war this weekend a number of times. They are on row number 4. Row number 5, Noah Lyle, who dropped down 1 position after a post-race penalty, finished 4th alongside Gianmarco Pradel, who was the driver that benefited from that. 11th, Keanu Alazari. 12th, Alex Ninovic, our championship leader. Wampu Shui goes 13th, just missing out on that promotion for the reverse grid alongside Lucas Flusha. That is row 7. Row 8 in the final row of the grid is Bianca Bustamante and Jack Sherwood. Jack Sherwood gaining a 3-place grid penalty after contact on lap number 1 of that second race, and also getting 2 penalty points on his licence for the benefits. But it's Kai Darianani, the number 88 for JHR Developments. He was rapid at the start of the year at Silverstone, struggled to repeat that form so far in the subsequent rounds, but has a good opportunity to get his hands on some silverware on this one. A reminder of the points, 20 points for a race win, reduced from 35 for race 1 and 2, 20 points for a race win. However, you can gain 1 point for every position you gain on your starting position, up to 12 points, so a maximum of 32 points available. We saw Freddie Slater gain all 32 of those last at Spa when he came from back to front. It will be harder to do it today in the dry conditions as the res rise for the final time this weekend here at the Hungaroring in the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Everyone away cleanly, and straight across the front of the field goes Kai Darianani, blocking the likes of Flynn Jacks and Reza Seewooruthun in the number 10 on the right-hand side of shot. He's looking around the outside. Still Darianani looking. Seewooruthun trying to go around the outside. A big left front lockup from Will McIntyre. Sees him run 1 wide. He's going to have a flat spot. 3 wide further back in the field. A few drivers running off, including Alazari. I think it was Faircluff as well, his teammate. 2 wheels on the grass as Reza Seewooruthun goes 3 wide for the race lead. We are 3 abreast. Turn 2. Reza Seewooruthun. That's Flynn Jacks losing out. Still side by side. Can Seewooruthun go around the outside of turn number 3 as well? It remains to be seen. Reza Seewooruthun for Argenti by Prema, 3rd to 1st in 1 corner. Absolutely outstanding manoeuvre. That is 2nd place now for Darianani. 3rd place still is Flynn Jacks as wide goes Jack Sherwood at the back of the field in turn 4. He rejoins, still at the back of the back. Oh, contact! That was one of the Elite Motorsport drivers. I couldn't catch who it was. Potentially Bustamante. I'll keep you posted with that. One driver, I think it was an Elite driver, going wide, and it was front to rear contact with, no, it's the 37 of Will McIntyre. He'll be disappointed with that one. I wonder if it was contact with the number 7 of Faircluff. We saw them go to war in the second race. He's going again, so hopefully we can avoid any interruption in this race, but that means Will McIntyre's chance of a good result in this one is pretty much out of the window as we see Abby Pulling pressuring the back of the pink car of Keanu Alazari. Abby Pulling in the black with pink flashes Rodin car. Outside is looking Flynn Jacks around the outside, turn 30, and that would be a move we haven't seen before as he runs wide, and now is going to be under pressure from Hugo Schwarzer. Schwarzer up 1 position, now inside the top 3, so Flynn Jacks 2nd down to 4th. Let's have a look at this again. Keep an eye on that 2nd blue flashes Elite Motorsport car. That was contact with Deegan Faircluff. I'm not sure who was more to blame at that stage. They were very much alongside at that stage of the road as we see Faircluff making a dive down the inside of turn number 1, getting on the inside of our XL driver Hoytzenroder. That's going to be good for his championship bid. So Faircluff definitely got the bit between his teeth, but looking at the front of the field, Seewooruthun absolutely has dropped the hammer at the front of the field. Fastest lap on that. He was nearly 3 seconds quicker than Kai Darianani in second place. DRS will be enabled this time by a fight between the 3 Rodin drivers there of Pulling, Pradel and Ninovic. We'll see who's, at the moment it is Pulling, Pradel and Ninovic in that order. I think it's Pradel and Ninovic that were closest together. This is the main battle on circuit at the moment inside the top 10. Second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way down pretty much for the rest of the field. Darianani very much the cork in the bottle. I think this was caused by that last sector where Schwarzer managed to get past Jax as Jax tried around the outside of the long apex turn 13. Oh, that was Faircluff having a look up the inside of turn number 9. We saw him make a move on McIntyre in the previous race this morning. Couldn't quite get it done that time. This is going to continue to rage on as Darianani still holding up the whole field, although a bit of a gap he's got ahead of Hugo Schwarzer. Well, it remains to be seen whether he will be able to break that DRS train. As now that was Pradel going on the outside of turn 12 with Ninovic on the inside. No change there. That is still the order as we were at the start of the lap for those two, but that's an important battle in the championship. Both teammates, but of course very much racing for themselves in this championship here. I'll run you through the order as it is. So it's Seewooruthun from 3rd to 1st, then Darianani, Schwarzer, Jax, Faircluff and Hoytsenrode, your top 6 as it stands. 3.5 seconds is the gap to Darianani for our leader Seewooruthun. Then it's nose to tail as we see defensive. Once again goes Pradel, trying to keep his teammate and championship rival Ninovic at bay behind. I think we can forget Seewooruthun. If he continues to set consistent lap times, he's got this one in the bag. That'll give him 20 points plus the 2 additional for the places he's gained. That'll be a good haul of points for him to move himself up in the championship. Looking back, it's the number 7 in the back of the shot there, 4th car in this train. Deegan Fairclough, one of the bigger movers so far this race. He was started in 8th place. He's now running in 5th, plus 3 positions. Good start of the race for him. Although we did see the contacts with him and Will McIntyre. Remains to be seen if that gets investigated and who is to apportion blame, but we'll call it as we see it from now on. Just dropping a wheel through the grass goes Hugo Schwarzer, taking the shortest line between turns 7 and turns 8. Darianani just settled himself down a little bit now, and wide out of the exit of turn 7 goes Flynn Jax. He's got F4 British champion, record-breaking champion Faircluff right behind him. Faircluff won that British Formula 4 Championship last season with High Tech, and back again with them in the GB3 Championship this season. So good team ethic between them. Looking further down the order, it really is nose to tail for everyone from 2nd down to Sherwood in 15th place. McIntyre the only one that's dropped off the back. I wonder if he's got damage on that car. His last lap, I think he may have actually come into the pits. We'll keep you updated where McIntyre is. Oh, a slide out of the last corner for Deegan Fairclough, pushing hard to try and get as close as possible as DRS is now enabled. You see the DRS flaps open on Schwarzer, on Jax, on Fairclough, Hoytsenrode, Alazari. Everyone down as defensive goes Abby Pulling. Pulling with the pink flashes in the number 9 car. Her teammates, the number 12, actually, that's Ninovic. Must have got past Pradel in the previous couple of laps. We didn't see how that happened, but Ninovic, our championship leader, passed one of his Rodin teammates. Can he make it past the 2nd as defensive into turn 2 goes Abby Pulling? That gives Ninovic the only option but to go around the outside. Can't get the move done that time, but right underneath the rear wing, he still goes into the middle sector. Turn 4, very, very high-speed corner through there. Running ever so slightly wide, can drag you off the circuit, as we saw Sherwood do at the start of this race. He continued on. Darianani, 7/10 was the gap to Schwarzer, as the 11 of Noah Lyle had a jink out of the slipstream just to try and place some pressure on Gianmarco Pradel. You can see there, it's a favourite opportunist move for Deegan Fairclough is turn number 9. Had a look up the inside of Flynn Jax that time. Look at the gap that Reza Seewooruthun has at the front of the field, Argenti by Prema. That would be a great result if they could hold on to that. That would be Reza's first victory this season, and also the first victory, if he can do it, in this championship for the brand new to GB3 Argenti with Prema team. No wins for them so far this season. They would join the likes of VRD Racing and XL Motorsport and Elite Motorsport with 1 win this season. Currently leading the way are both Hillspeed and Rodin with 4 apiece. Over the line once again, DRS still very much in force. So it looks like Schwarzer's actually just dropped outside of DRS. Yes, he has. 1.2 seconds is the gap, which means he's losing out on straight line speed. And now Flynn Jax just eking out of the slipstream as we see actually a move. Looked like Flynn Jacks was making a move, or was thinking about making a move on Schwarzer, but no, Faircluff just breaking diagonally down towards the apex. Then reminder, 2 DRS zones here at the Hungaroring circuit. 1 detection point into that final corner. Then the driver that sits on the drivers in front will then have it down towards turn 1 and then again down towards turn number 2. And we've seen moves at both turn 1 and turn 2 on both the inside and the outside. That's the main spots on the circuit these drivers are looking for overtakes, but don't count out turn number 9. We've seen Fairclough especially choosing that position on the circuit for an opportunistic and surprise attack. Darian Arney settling in his JHR Developments car, potentially just taking a lap or so at the start of the race to bring his tyres in gently before then kicking on. Schwarzer now the one who's going to be under pressure. You can see how hard Dagan Fairclough was working the wheel, and again just trying to carry a bit more speed through turn number 8, which then would put him in a good position on the inside of turn 9 to take that position, but couldn't quite get close enough to effect a move on Flynn Jacks there. The number 9 pink flashes on the Rodin car of Abby Pulling. She is now closing in on the back of Keanu Alazari, our pole sitter for race number 1 this weekend for the high-tech TGR team. Keanu Alazari, F4 Spain last year, 2nd place. F4 UAE, 3rd place, and German prototype driver. Lots of experience behind the wheel. Alpine Academy back driver, as is evident by his bright pink BWT livery, reminiscent of the Alpine F1 cars in Formula 1. However, it looks like actually Ninovic right under the rear wing out of the last corner. Ninovic is forcing Abby Pulling to go defensive. This is a battle between 2 Rodin Motorsport teammates. Ninovic gets ahead at the apex, squeezes Pulling onto the curb. Textbook outside overtake there, and has the benefit of DRS down towards turn 2. Will Pulling look to get that position back on the inside of turn number 2? Ninovic doesn't even need to feel the likes. It doesn't even need to go defensive into turn number 2. Gets that move done. Now Ninovic's sights will be set on Al Azari. We saw those two do battle in race number 1. It was Al Azari who got the upper hand in that race, taking the final step on the podium. Ninovic finishing 4th in the end. Making their way through the long turn number 5. There's corners like that around this circuit that really eat away at these Pirelli tyres. 2 inches wider than last season's cars, which means there's more grip. However, with the additional weights from the crash structures that has increased the safety, and also the additional power and additional downforce, these tyres getting worked equally as hard in this brand new to 2025 GB3 car, the Tatas MSV GB3 025. It's been very popular with the drivers this year so far. The increased speed has been liked by the drivers. A bit more of a physical challenge for them as well. Darian Arney continuing to just bridge the gap to Schwarzer in 2nd place. Gap is 1.2 at the start of this lap. Still not within DRS, but Flynn Jacks is actually looking like he's going to be right on the cusp of whether he can get DRS on Schwarzer. And I think if Flynn Jacks loses that DRS on Schwarzer, he's going to be under a lot of pressure from Dagan Fairclough. Tyre strategy might come into play in this race as well. 2 brand new sets of tyres are available for each of the cars on the grid before qualifying, and then to be used through those 3 races. So most drivers and teams will use 1 set of new tyres in qualifying 1 to set the grid for race 1, and then the 2nd set of new tyres for the best qualifying position for race 2, because these Pirelli tyres are absolutely at their fastest on the 1st and 2nd flying lap here this weekend. So once they've been through 1 heat cycle, they lose a few tenths, and you can't afford to do that in a grid as competitive as this. So then every other driver, all the drivers will have to be using the tyres that have already done at least a qualifying session in a race so far this weekend. But I heard from the likes of Hugo Schwarzer, his lock-up in race number 1 that saw him exit the race actually damaged that set of tyres, so he had to use the same tyres, or will be having to use the same tyres in this race as he used in the previous one, where he had a good result, coming 7th on the road. Was 7th on the road, I think. Yeah, it was 7th place for Hugo Schwarzer. Race 2 earlier on today. Now running once again inside the top 3. Schwarzer's had a good season this season, racing on a 1-car team at the moment with VRD. They'll maybe seeing more drivers in that team as wide. On the exit of turn 11 goes Pradell, and also at the back of the field, I think it was Sherwood that went wide at turn 11. This is the point of the weekend where the tyres and the drivers and the circuit is ramping up, and the heat, it's the hottest it's been at any point this weekend. Very, very hot on circuit at the moment. Track temperature 45 degrees, air temperature 33 nearly. So very, very hard physical work out there for the drivers. This is where their training comes into play, is DRS still has Flynn Jacks. Actually, Deegan Faircluff lost DRS on the back of Flynn Jacks. So Flynn Jacks in that Elite Motorsports car got very good pace at this stage. But let's not forget about the driver that made such a good start to this race. Really, really good tactical racecraft on the lap number 1. It was Reza Seewooruthun. He went around the outside of turn number 1. Couldn't get the move done there, but that gave him a good exit down towards turn number 2, which he used to the best effect and got past both of the drivers ahead of himself. Both Darianani and Flynn Jacks took the lead and hasn't looked back since. In that move, Flynn Jacks also lost out, as we saw, to Hugo Schwarzer. Jacks tried an optimistic move around the outside of turn 13, couldn't get it done. But if you're not going forward, you often go backwards in motorsport, especially in single-seater racing. Flynn Jacks, great to see him back racing again after we saw him do a partial season last year. Was noted down to do the full season, but unfortunately, through no fault of his own, was involved in a road traffic accident at the Donington Park round in the lead-up to that event, and sustained injuries which saw him not finish the season. But great to see him back this year and doing, I think, definitely taking a step forward in his pace this year, working well with the Elite Motorsports teams. He's currently in 3rd place with the Elite Motorsports car, black and yellow with the orange highlights. There he is, the number 55, coming through the final turn now. Does he still have DRS on Hugo Schwarzer? I think he does. This field came together at the start of the race, didn't it? But it's starting to string out a little bit now as Schwarzer still doesn't have DRS. Flynn Jacks didn't quite have DRS actually this lap either, as Reza Seewooruthun still going faster and faster, at the fastest lap and the fastest middle sector on that last lap by 1:39.7. Not quite the same pace we've seen from the cars earlier on this weekend, and that's just because the track surface is so hot and these tyres have had a lot of work. Every session, every lap they do, the performance drops away, and managing those tyres is going to be an important factor. You can see the drivers running wide, or some of them. This is going to be a battle that I think I want to watch for the remaining races. This is Keanu Alazari, who's fending off our championship leader, Alex Ninovic. Ninovic actually has got an overlap going up towards turn number 4, but his nose was firmly chopped off there as Alazari took to the racing line. Nose to tail they are. These two did battle in race number 1. Alazari coming off and getting that final podium position in race number 1 earlier on this weekend. Yeah, Alazari dropped down to 4th place at the start of race number 1. If you didn't watch that, go back on the GB3 social media page. You can watch the highlights or watch the highlights that were on the second show this morning. It was a good one to watch. We've had 2 good races this weekend already so far, and a good start to this one as well. Looks like we've still got more to come. But at the halfway stage of the race now, 7 laps remaining at the end of this one. Without a safety car, I think we're going to be going to those 15 laps. It's 15 laps or 25 minutes, whichever comes soonest, into the final corner. Looks like Flynn Jacks is just within DRS to my eye. We'll confirm that as we come over the line. If he does, we'll see that orange flap, yep, popping right open. DRS not hugely powerful around this Hungaroring circuit. Gives you a 10th or so down towards turn number 1, another couple of tenths down towards turn 2. So definitely will want that if you're going to be attacking the driver in front. Oh, a mistake, a locking of the brakes. I think that was from Alazari in the pink number 6 car. It looked like he went slightly wide. Yes, we got side by side. Ninovic on the outside. We've seen him try a move on the outside already this race so far. Can't get it done. We got side by side also between Bianca Bustamante. No, that's not my mistake. It's the 11 of Noah Lyle fighting with Lucas Flusha. Lucas Flusha with the Argentina Premier. Side by side once again go Alazari and Ninovic. Ninovic having to take to the curb on the way into turn number 4 and running wide. You can see the front of the car raising in the air as the plank underneath the car hit the serrated curbs aggressively. He's trying very hard, putting a lot of pressure on the back as we see dust in the background. That's going to potentially be a move. That's a continuation of that battle. I think that might have been Wampu Shui and Bustamante doing battle in the back of shot. We continue to keep an eye on this. That is Noah Lyle, the driver that took the podium provisionally in race number 2 with his end demoted after having deemed to have crowded Gianmarco Pradel off the road at turn number 1. Gianmarco Pradel being promoted onto the podium, so he took his second podium position in terms of points after winning race number 1, so a strong weekend from him so far. Pradel currently sitting in 10th place. He started this one in 10th, so no bonus points. He'll be looking at 6 points in this race if he stays where he is for the remainder. A reminder, reduced point score for positions in race number 3 to allow for those bonus points for gaining positions. The biggest gainer in this race so far still is Deegan Fairclough. Alazari actually I was surprised Alazari didn't defend down towards turn number 1 there as the number 12. Right behind him of Ninovic. Continues to pile the pressure on. Hoytson Road has gone under the radar in this race. So continuing just to stay in the mirrors is Ninovic. I think Ninovic has got better tyres at this stage of the weekend than Alazari in front of him. Alazari in the pink car once again. It seems like Alazari just doesn't have the pace through turn number 2, because every lap we've watched in the last 3 or 4, Alazari's under pressure into turn number 4, but unfortunately for Ninovic, turn 4 isn't really an overtaking opportunity unless you can get all the way alongside on the entry. Ninovic is having a look at the inside of turn number 5. No way through at this stage. Alazari, all he has to do, I think, is just get good exits, keep it clean. It's going to be hard to make his way through as the Pirelli tyres start to fall away at what has been a very, very hard weekend for these tyres. It's been hot track temperatures all weekend so far. Pushing very, very hard, both in qualifying and the races. You can see how fast it is and how low the cars here run to the ground. Running on that exit curb, seeing the puffs of smoke as the plank underneath the car, the resin plank hits the ground and burns up. Reza Seewooruthun continuing to extend the lead at the front of the field. This has been a very, very impressive drive. He's nearly a second faster than every other driver on the circuit at the moment. I think helped by the fact that Kai Darianani doesn't quite have the pace in this one and is backing everyone up. Although Hugo Schwarzer can't stay within DRS either, so Reza Seewooruthun, very impressive display in this race. It'd be great to see him kick on and use this as a launch pad for a great second half of the season. Reza, his best result so far this season was a 3rd place in the reverse grid last time out at Spa. He had a good result, gaining a fair few places. He had a good run of form in Zandvoort, 5th or 4th in the first 2 races. Then an 8th place in that reverse grid race. This weekend didn't quite have the pace to get up that high in qualifying. New circuit with these cars to these drivers. Reza saying to me he didn't get a huge amount of testing in before this round. But this is very much an example of man and machine in harmony coming through here. This middle sector, very technical here at the Hungaroring circuit. As soon as you turn into turn number 4, it's pretty much non-stop until you exit this corner here, turn 11. It's the left of 4, right of 5, then the chicanes of 6, 7, 8 and 9, flat out through turn 10 and the quick corner of turn 11. And then technical final sector as well. These long turn 13 that goes through here, to balance the car all the way into the corner and pick up the power gently through the exit. Same with turn 14. Sort of medium speed corners, you really have to be understanding what the car's doing underneath you to get through these sectors cleanly and not scrub too much speed or put too much energy through the tyres while getting a fast lap time. As we see Flynn Jacks fighting with the wheel, just really hustling that elite motorsport car to keep in the DRS zone of Flynn Jacks. Gap was only 0.4 of a second earlier on this lap. What is it over the line now? 0.6 of a second now is the gap. That's still our far closest battle at the moment, other than that gap between Ninovic and Alazari in 7th and 8th. We'll cut back to that in a moment. There is Alazari feeling the need to go defensive down towards turn number 1. That's going to give Ninovic an opportunity to go for an archack down towards turn 2. Noah Lyle also defensive, trying to keep Lucas Flusha in the number 3 with the grey and blue Argenti with Premacar. They are side by side in the back of shot. So 2 drivers side by side. That's Alazari defending from Ninovic, and also in the back of shot we saw Lyle side by side with Flusha, who comes out ahead still. All side by side through turn number 3. That's normally flat out corner. Ninovic just sensing that is a weakness of Alazari at this stage in the race. In the back of shot, Flusha was not able to get through on Noah Lyle at the start of this lap, but still putting the pressure on, and all that fighting between Alazari and Ninovic pulling very much in this battle. Those are the final places towards the back of the top 10. Alazari 7th, Ninovic 8th. 9th is pulling, 10th is Pradell. So we've got some words from the race director. 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits for the car 78. Now I can tell you that is Jack Sherwood. Doesn't really feature at the moment in this battle that we're looking at. Jack Sherwood in 14th place. He's been off the road a number of times that we've seen, and also off camera as well, and will be dropping 5 seconds further back. That'll drop him at the moment, I think, behind Bianca Bustamante. Yes, it would drop him into second last place on the road. Will McIntyre still circulating at the back of the field after that first lap spin after contact with Deegan Fairclough. There is Tegan Fairclough round in the last corner. And the top 5 for him will be a good result. Schwarzer in 33, Flynn Jacks 55. There is Fairclough in the 7. Hoytson-Roda slightly dropping off the back now of Fairclough, just allowing Alazari and DRS. And as you can see, Alazari fighting with the car on the way in there. Let's have a look at a replay through turn 6 and 7. This is how... Ooh, that was contact there. That was Noah Lyle, defensive into the 6-7 chicane that last time by. He thought that Flusha was knocked alongside him, came back to the racing line. And there was a bit of contact, just a nudge from on the rear tyre. Flusha just touching the back. I don't think any damage is lasting from either of those drivers. Wampu Shui, unfortunately, the 56, I'm getting word, has come into the pits for Argenti with Prema. He was just outside the top 10. Unfortunately, Wampu Shui has not been a great weekend for him so far. Not the weekend that he would have wanted for the Mercedes AMG junior driver. He had a 12th place in race number 1 this weekend, and then a 12th place again in race number 2. So solid point scores, but not exactly inside the top 10 where he would like to have been. The Wampu Shui, as I mentioned, a Mercedes junior driver. Came 9th in British F4 last year, but won the Rookie Championship and has an extensive karting career. And as a driver from China coming over to Europe, he's very much committed to his racing, and he'll very much be looking to bounce back after this. This is, as I mentioned, after this race will be the halfway point in the championship. We're heading on to the final lap of the race now. I think we can safely say that unless anything untoward happens in this final lap, Reza Seewooruthun, with his 15-second gap, has dominated this one and is going to take the victory in this one. That will be a real welcome victory for the Argenti with Prema team and Reza himself. He was a strong driver in British F4 last year, came 3rd in that championship. 2 wins he took. This is going to be a very, very big winning margin if it stays this. It will be the second biggest since 2016, I believe. Only Norris has ever won with a bigger margin. Lando Norris, of course, Formula 1 driver, getting a lot of support in Formula 1 this weekend. I haven't seen the Formula 1 because we've been concentrating on things here at the Hungaroring, so no spoilers in the YouTube chat, please. Reza Seewooruthun dancing his car through the final lap. This is such an enjoyable moment for the drivers when they know they've got it sealed up and clearly the car working well for him. Hopefully that's a sign that the Argenti with Prema team have taken a step forward and found something on the setup, because Argenti and Prema, 2 forces in junior motorsport that have been so strong in other championships. They've joined GB3 in 2025. They've been building up, as has Reza Seewooruthun, building to a moment just like this where he can come around the final corner and they can both say that they are now winners in the GB3 Championship. Reza Seewooruthun wins round number 12 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC in 2025. Takes a well-deserved victory, and we're going to have to wait a fair old while for the pole sitter in this reverse grid race, Kai Darianani, to take 2nd place. JHR Developments taking a podium for them. That will be a great feeling for that team. Taking a podium, of course, so strong with the likes of John Bennett last year, and holding out the final place on the podium was Hugo Schwarzer of VRD. Great to see them back on the podium. Flynn Jacks, great mention, good result for him. He struggled this season. This is by far his best result this year. He's unfortunately not featured hugely in the top 10 this year. In fact, this is going to be his first top 10 this season, and wow, what a result. 4th place for him. He's looked very strong, definitely made a stride forward. And then Deegan Fairclough finishing in top 5. He rounded out the top 5. Remains to be seen. The provisional result, of course, we'll give you the full result in just a few moments' time. Provisional, of course. We saw those moves in the first lap. Who knows, there may be some post-race amendments. But great racing in that one. Reverse grid always providing a good race. But there we go, 16.5 seconds. Richard Randall, the Series GB3 Series PR manager, saying to me that he thinks it's the second largest winning margin. Kai Darianani from 2nd, Hugo Schwarzer 3rd, Flynn Jacks 4th, Deegan Fairclough 5th, Pat Hoytson-Roda now was 6th. Keanu Alazari did hold off Alex Ninovic in 7th and 8th. Abby Pulling will be 9th. Jean-Marco Pradel 10th, Noah Lyle 11th, Lucas Flusha 12th. Bianca Bustamante equals her best result this weekend in 13th. Jack Sherwood 14th after that 5-second penalty that he gained. And then Will McIntyre did finish on the lead lap, and then Wampu Shui unfortunately retiring with a couple of laps to go. We'll see him bounce back, taking the confidence from the team. because he's teammates with this man, the number 10, Reza Seewooruthun. Not shy of winning is this man. Reza took 2 wins last season in British F4. This is his first in GB3 Championship and the first of the team. There'll be celebrations tonight, I'm sure, for those guys. You can see what it means to him in dominant fashion as well. Driver coach there as well, celebrating with Reza. Very friendly driver is Reza. I've spoke to a few times this year, very chill, very relaxed. We saw him chilling out after race number 1 this weekend in his plunge pool, should we call it? Jonas is calling it a plant pot, but I'm sure it will be very necessary after this one. The hottest race of the season, I think, so far this year. There's hugs all round for Hugo Schwarz, his parents there. And then there's the moment that means so much to the drivers. A hug from Dad, hug from the family and friends. Reza deserved that win. He really, really earned that one. That was a display of not only out-and-out speed in that race, winning by 16 seconds, but the racecraft, just the foresight to see what was going to go on between the 2 leaders, Darian Arni and Jax fighting down towards turn number 1, allowed a crack in the door, and Reza Seewooruthun put his GB3 Tatus car in that gap and took victory. What a move that was. It'll be good to relive that one in the highlights. Looking forward to hearing what Reza has to say about it after what has been such a dramatic race. Really looking forward to it. And I'm going to wait until I hear the words, and we'll very shortly be handing down to John Jackson.
Reza chatting here. I'll tell you what, well, I'll let him chat to you in a second. That plant pot's done the trick.
Yeah, kept me in the right mindset, kept me cold. Yeah, ready for the heat for that race.
Talk me through that move then. It was a killer move to get the lead, and then we'll talk about the gap in your victory in a second.
Yeah, I knew that I had to make the move early on because I knew it'd be a proper fight till the end. So, yeah, I saw a gap on the outside. They weren't moving over there. I thought, you know what, this is our chance. We've got to take it. Kai tried to defend a bit, but we made it pass. Made me stick and then drove away.
Once you're into the distance, though, you can get a bit complacent, but you just pulled out an impressive lead and just kept going.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know what the lead was. I couldn't see anyone behind me, so I knew it was good, and we had some purple sectors, but yeah, happy with that.
I believe it was over 15 seconds in the end, so I think it's the second highest winning margin since 2016, and I think only Lando Norris has actually won by further in this championship, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll take that, definitely. I think saving the tyres for the end, having a bit of a sacrifice in the second race, definitely paid off.
Excellent stuff. Well, look, congratulations. We'll let you celebrate with all the people to your right who definitely want to celebrate.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Reza Seewooruthun. We'll move over to Kai Darianari. Kai, another podium for you. How was that race out there?
Not too bad. I mean, a bit of a shame that we lost P1 at the first corner, or second or third corner, to be honest. But Reza looked like he had a lot of good pace, to be fair. So I think it was a solid job that we came home in P2. Yeah, I mean, we had quite a difficult Thursday and Friday, just getting the balance right in the car. So tried to turn it around a little bit for quali and came out with some kind of a result, which is nice.
Yeah, nice to be back on the podium as well. Good conditions as well for racing. I mean, Reza's pace was incredible there and managed to pull out a big old gap. I guess you gave him a little bit of a go, but in the end he just sailed into the distance and there wasn't much you could do.
Yeah, I mean, after he kind of pulled away, I just kind of went a little bit into management mode. And then I knew I had a gap to third place, so I just, just kind of managing. But massive thank you to the team. Been really supportive, been really helpful throughout the whole year. So hopefully some more of these podiums to come.
Excellent stuff. A great result for JHR and a great result for you.
Thank you.
There we go, Kai Darianari coming second. Where is my guy in third place? Oh, he's over here. He's by his car. We'll just come round over here. Hey, congratulations to you. Got another podium for you this season. How was it out there for you?
Yeah, it was tough, really tough to be honest. I mean, I got a good start, and from then on, for me, it was really just saving the tyres. I had another tyre strategy than the cars in front of me, so it was quite difficult keeping up with the pace, but I did no mistake, so that's what got me the podium this time.
With the high track temperature, were the tyres dropping off pretty early into the race?
Yeah, they were definitely. I mean, they were heating up quite quickly, and as I said, just keep out of the dirty air, save the tyres, but obviously don't save the tyres too much because I still had a car with fresher tyres behind me. So
yeah, you've been racking up podiums this year so far, at the halfway point now. How would you assess the first half of your season?
Yeah, honestly, it's been incredible. I didn't know I was going to race GB3 this year. It was quite short notice. But yeah, the team and I have been working really well together. We've just constantly been developing the car, and that's why we're standing on the podium now.
Yeah, you've been very successful here, also very successful elsewhere. We'll let you go and celebrate with the team and go and get your trophy.
Thank you very much.
There we go, Hugo Schwarzer. Another podium for him as we hand over to Piers, who will talk you through the final podium ceremony of the weekend.
Thank you very much, John. Great to hear the driver's reaction after what was, I'm sure, a very hot and sweaty race. You can see the glistening faces of our podium drivers, which also the smiles were very much in force. Great result for all three of those drivers. Hugo Schwarzer has had some good results this year. New team for him this weekend. Well, not this weekend, sorry, this season. Moved over to the VRD stable. One-car team at the moment, which always makes things more difficult when you haven't got teammates to work with on the setup. Doing a good job nonetheless. Kai Darianani, he'll be very, very happy with that result this weekend. Kai had one podium previously. He was third place in the first reverse grid of the season. Had good result there at Silverstone. We head to Silverstone next, so watch out for him to be quick once again. Second place, his best result so far this season, and then a win for Reza Seewooruthun. His best result this season so far up to then, as I mentioned earlier, was third. The last reverse grid we had at Spa. Very different conditions there, though. That was changeable conditions. Very much dry this weekend. We're going to have the podium ceremony in just a few moments' time. But a reminder that we will have the 1, 2 and 3 podium ceremonies. We'll also be crowning the Sunoco Fastest Driver of the Weekend award. We'll give you that information as soon as we have confirmation on who that is. Also a reminder there are other championships as well. Or prizes as well. There's the Omologato One to Watch Award, which will be representing or presents the driver who has the will be presented to a driver who is the highest point scores across the first 2 races of the weekend. So potentially going the way of either Gianmarco Pradel or Keanu Al-Azhari. That will probably be. Yeah, so one of those two will be picking that up, which means that they get a not-for-sale timepiece from Omologato. And a reminder that this championship also awards these drivers super license points at the end of the year, 10 super license points going towards their 40 to allow them to race in Formula One, and we will see drivers on this grid in Formula One in the future. It's almost certain. We've had many, many before. The likes of, for example, Lando Norris, who has that largest winning margin in the championship, and its previous guys of BRDC British F3 back in 2016. He is now going on to great things in Formula One. And again, I don't know what happened in the race today, so try not to spoil it for us, but he's gone on to pretty good things. We've seen many drivers go on to amazing things, and these drivers on this grid this season and in seasons gone by will be looking to make their claim on being some of the best in the world. Podium ceremony coming up in just a moment's time, before we will then run you through the highlights of this race. Sounds like we're about to get that podium ceremony underway. You've seen them already, but it's good to see the final celebrations, the taste of champagne for all the hard work they've done behind the scenes. A reminder that this is very much a professional championship. Third place, Hugo Schwarzer for VRD Racing, the German driver. He's been a busy man this year, racing at the Le Mans, Road to Le Mans Cup, and he was on the podium at the Le Mans 24-hour race weekend. Kai Darianani, a very busy man last year, takes his second podium this year. Kai Darianani raced in many championships. He's already raced in Formula Regional Middle East and Euro Cup 3 Middle East, but the driver of the day, Reza Seewooruthun, the number 10 for Argenti with Bremer. He was third in British F4 last year, 2 wins. He's already got 1 this year for this weekend. Trophy presentations now handed out by Gemma Mole, series coordinator. She's the one that makes sure everyone's at the right place at the right time. Kai Darianani, second place trophy. And Reza Seewooruthun will shortly be getting his winning trophy. That's the one they all want, the big pot. And a big cheer from the Argenti with Bremer team. That will mean a lot to them. They'll be getting a lot of photos and putting that in pride of place in the workshop. I'm absolutely certain of that. And we'll now have the national anthems. That'll be a good sound for Reza to hear the national anthem of the United Kingdom from where he resides. Truly international championship is the GB3 Championship, based in the United Kingdom, however, or Great Britain as it is, GB. However, we've only had 2 drivers of the 9 this weekend actually from the United Kingdom. The first race of the weekend we had Gianmarco Pedro from Australia, then Will McIntyre, the Brit, and Keanu Al-Azhari from the UAE. Sunoco fastest lap award does go to our championship leader, Alex Ninovic from Rodin, so he'll be taking away a wonderful prize there, and the Sunoco hat as well. He gets that for having the fastest race lap of the weekend, and he was a driver very much to beat this weekend, taking a victory. So that was the podium ceremony, and we'll very shortly be showing you the highlights of the reverse grid race, round number 12 of the GB3 Championship in 2025. Highlights of round 12 of the reverse grid race here at the Hungaroring, and it was Kai Darianani that led from pole position, although right behind him Flynn Jacks tucked in the slipstream. And look for that number 10 on the right-hand side of the screen, Reza Seewooruthun, looking around the outside, didn't get a move done down towards turn number 1 as Will McIntyre locked his left front down towards turn 1, lost out to Hugo Schwarzer. But it was Reza Seewooruthun that managed to get through on both of the drivers ahead, third to first into turn number 2, and then that contact between Deegan Faircluff and Will McIntyre at turn number 5 on lap 1 saw Will McIntyre drop to the back of the field. Fairclough would recover and also get past championship rival Pat Hoytsenreder down towards turn number 1. Then Keanu Al-Azhari getting very much in the battle, and this is the point at which Reza Seewooruthun absolutely dropped the hammer and pulled away from the rest of the field. He would extend the gap very large. That's Kai Darianani, who managed to hold out from Hugo Schwarzer, who was in 3rd place for most of that race. And then there was fighting further back. Gianmarco Pedro lost positions to his championship rival and teammate of Alex Ninovic, who was the highest finishing of the 3 drivers. But no one could beat this man today. Reza Seewooruthun took victory by over 16 seconds, the 2nd biggest winning margin in GB3 history. Well, that was the highlights of round number 12. What a race weekend we've had here at the Hungaroring circuit. A circuit that many say is difficult to overtake at. Well, the drivers in the GB3 Championship have proved us wrong. We've seen many, many moves inside and outside, turns 1 and turns 2, and also down towards turn number 9. We've had great racing in all 3 of the races so far. Very much looking forward to returning here, hopefully in the future. My name's Piers Pryor. I've been commentating on the races this weekend. We'll hope you'll join us very soon for Silverstone. I'm going to hand down to John Jackson to close the show.
Well, there we go. Another reverse grid race, throwing up drama, and we had a fantastic battle there. I mean, it wasn't a battle, was it, for our race winner, Reza Seewooruthun? I mean, an incredible lead there to take that victory. Good to see a Brit on the top and also a German 3rd on the podium. That's quite an interesting one. I wonder where I've heard that before in the last hour or so. We got more from the GB3 Championship coming up as we head into the 2nd part of the season in 4 weeks' time at Silverstone. It's all about British Grand Prix back in the UK, and we are going to go and take over in the GB3 Championship in 4 weekends' time. Of course, we'll have full race coverage as we have done this weekend, and you can check out all the stats and all the listings where the drivers are in the standings on the GB3 website right now, and you can watch back all of these races if you've missed any moments on the GB3 YouTube channel. So we've been to Spa, we've been to Zandvoort, we've been to Hungary. We've got one more abroad trip coming up later in the year when we go to Monza to end the season in Italy. But next up, the GB3 Championship returns home to Silverstone in 4 weeks' time.